Hi, my Mouseketeers, it's Miss Goldman, and today we are going to read a Disney Pixar's Finding Nemo. So you may have seen this movie, and you may have even watched Find Dory. And remember, in this book we have Nemo, which starts with an N, which we learned makes the n sound. So sit back, relax, put your listening Mouseketeer ears on, and enjoy the story.
Finding Nemo.
Adapted by Catherine Collins.
At the edge of the Great Barrier Reef, two clownfish were admiring their new home, and they had moved in just in time, too. Coral and Marlin were going to be parents soon. All around them, families of colorful fish darted from one coral to the next. The neighborhood was great, but it was far from perfect. Dangerous fish lived nearby. Outside their home, Coral spotted a hungry barracuda looking at her eggs. She quickly swam to save them. "No!" Marlin cried, dashing to stop her. But it was too late. In the blink of an eye, the barracuda got what it came for, and Coral too. Only one injured egg was left of Marlin's family. With a heavy heart, Marlin held the egg in his fins and said, "I promise, I will never let anything happen to you, Nemo." Soon, Nemo was ready for his first day of school, but Marlin was not. He didn't want to let Nemo out of his sight. "What's one thing we have to remember about the ocean?" Marlin asked Nemo. "It's not safe," Nemo replied. He had heard this question a million times. So when Marlin learned that the class was swimming to the drop-off, he panicked and went to find his son. He did not want Nemo near the open water. At the drop-off, Marlin saw Nemo and his friends playing a dangerous game. They were seeing who could swim closest to a boat in the open water. "Nemo, no!" Marlin cried. "You think you can do these things, but you just can't, Nemo." Nemo was embarrassed. "I hate you," he said. He swam out to the boat and touched it with his fin. Just as Nemo began to swim back, a diver appeared behind him and trapped him inside a net. "Dad, help me!" Nemo cried. He couldn't escape. The diver took Nemo back to the boat and sped off, accidentally knocking his scuba mask overboard. Marlin swam after the boat as quickly as he could, but he wasn't fast enough. Marlin lost sight of the boat and his son. Marlin felt helpless until he bumped into a friendly fish named Dory. She had seen where the boat went, but Dory didn't have the greatest memory in the sea. "I forget things almost instantly," she explained. "It runs in my family. Or at least I think it does." Marlin turned to swim away, but he bumped into a shark named Bruce. Bruce invited Marlin and Dory to a little get-together at an old shipyard nearby. Marlin was sure it was a trap, but the fish didn't really have a choice. They followed Bruce to an old sunken ship where two other sharks were waiting. In the shipyard, Marlin spotted the scuba mask. There were words on the strap, a clue. But when Bruce got hungry, he attacked Dory and Marlin. He chased them through the shipyard. Dory and Marlin barely escaped, and in the rush, Dory accidentally dropped the mask, their only clue, into the deep, dark water below. Miles from his home, Nemo was trapped inside a fish tank in a dentist's office. It just so happened that the other fish in the tank were friendly. They were even friends with a pelican named Nigel. The tank gang liked Nemo so much that they decided to make him part of their club. Tonight, We give the kid a proper reception, said a fish named Gil. That night, Nemo swam through a stream of bubbles called the Ring of Fire. From this moment on, you will now be known as Sharkbait, said Gil. Soon after his initiation, Nemo learned he was in danger. Every year, the dentist gave his niece, Darla, a fish for her birthday, and she had a history of making her presents go belly up. This year, Nemo would be her gift. We can't send him off to his death, Gil said. He had a plan. Deep in the ocean, Marlin and Dory swam into a dark canyon after the mask. When they reached the bottom, a faint light appeared. As the two friends got closer to the light, a scary fish with long, sharp teeth appeared. They swam away as fast as they could, but Dory spotted the mask. "Read it," Marlin cried, trying to distract the fish. "P. Sherman," she said, slowly making out the words. 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. They finally knew where Nemo was. As Marlin and Dory swam toward Sydney, they bumped into a jellyfish. "Come here, little squishy," said Dory, but then it stung her. Suddenly, a forest of jellyfish appeared. Marlin knew they were in danger. To get through the jellyfish safely, Marlin suggested a friendly race. In a flash, they were zipping through the jellyfish and dodging deadly tentacles to reach the finish. But both fish got hurt. As Marlin's eyes began to close, he saw a giant sea turtle in the distance. Then, everything went black. Back in the dentist's office, Gil explained Nemo's role in his escape plan. "What we need you to do is take a pebble inside and jam the gears. The dentist would have to take the fish out of the tank to clean the dirty water. Once outside the tank, they would make their escape to the ocean." Gil's plan was working until the blades started spinning again, with Nemo stuck inside. He was being sucked back toward the blades. The tank gang managed to rescue him, but everyone agreed it was not safe to try Gil's escape plan again. When Marlin and Dory woke up, they learned that a family of giant sea turtles had saved them. Marlin told a sea turtle named Crush that he was searching the entire ocean for his son, Nemo. Crush's son, Squirt, was impressed. "You rock, dude," said Squirt. After the sea turtles dropped off Marlin and Dory outside Sydney, word of their bravery spread fast. From turtle to fish to lobster to dolphin. Soon the news spread all the way to Sydney, where Nigel the pelican heard it. Nigel couldn't wait to share the news with Nemo. "Your dad's been fighting the entire ocean looking for you," he said excitedly. Nemo was inspired by his father's bravery. He was ready to attempt Gil's escape plan again and get back home. Taking a pebble from the bottom of the tank, he swam into the filter. And this time, Nemo jammed the blades and safely made it out of the filter. "We have less than 48 hours before Darla gets here," Gil reminded them. With the jammed filter, it was time to make the tank absolutely filthy. "Be as gross as possible," he said. And they did just that. The tank was dirty in no time. Outside Sydney, Marlin was beginning to think they were lost. "I have definitely seen this floating speck before," he said. In the distance, a huge whale was swimming toward them. "Can you give us directions?" Dory asked in her best whale voice. When the whale didn't answer, she wasn't so sure it was friendly. Then, with little warning, the whale sucked them into its mouth. Marlin began to panic. He just knew the whale was going to eat them. He would never find his son now. I promised him I'd never let anything happen to him, he said sadly. You can't never let anything happen to him, Dory replied. Then nothing would ever happen to him. To their surprise, the whale dropped them off in Sydney. The next day, the tank gang woke up to a clean tank. The dentist had installed an Aquascum 2003, the best filter around. He scooped up Nemo and placed him in a plastic bag for Darla's birthday present. Nemo remembered something Gil once said: all drains lead to the ocean. If Nemo pretended to be dead, the dentist would send him down the drain. He would be back home in the ocean in no time. That same morning, Nigel finally met Marlin and Dory. I gotta find my son, Nemo, Marlin told the pelican. I can take you to your son, Nigel said. Marlin and Dory hopped inside the pelican's mouth and flew straight to the dentist's office. Darla had just arrived. She was ready for a teeth cleaning and for her birthday present. Yay! Fishy, 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 she cheered. Suddenly, Nigel, Marlin, and Dory stormed into the office through a window. Hey, I found his dad, Nigel cried. But Marlin saw Nemo in the plastic bag, belly up. Nemo, he gasped. They were too late, he thought. Nigel took them back to the harbor. Darla noticed Nemo was belly up as well. Fishy? She said. Fishy, wake up! Wake up! She started shaking Nemo's bag. Gil knew he had to do something. Ring of fire, he cried. The tank gang turned on the stream of bubbles, blasting Gil out of the tank and onto Darla's head. Darla screamed. She threw Nemo's bag into the air and it landed on a tray of sharp dental tools. The bag popped. Gil flipped himself onto the tray beside Nemo, which sent Nemo flying toward the dentist sink and down the drain. Tell your dad I said hi, he said weakly. Outside in the harbor, Marlin thought about Nemo. It's over, Dory, he said. We were too late. I'm going home now. With a heavy heart, he slowly started swimming back home, alone. No, you can't, Dory cried when Marlin turned around. I look at you and I'm home. Please, she begged. Marlin was her only friend, but Marlin was too heartbroken. He swam away. Without Marlin, Dory couldn't remember where she was or how she got there. Even when Nemo popped out from a nearby pipe and introduced himself, she didn't recognize the name. Where are we anyways? Asked Nemo. Sydney. P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney, she cried, suddenly remembering all that had happened. Nemo, it's you! Together, Dory and Nemo searched for Marlin, who luckily hadn't gone too far. But as Marlin swam toward his son, a huge net surrounded Dory and some other fish. Nemo knew how to save them. Tell all the fish to swim down, he said. All of the fish began swimming down. Keep swimming, just keep swimming, Marlin instructed. It worked. Dory and the other fish escaped from the net, but Nemo was trapped underneath it. It's okay. Daddy's here. Daddy's got you, Marlin said as he rushed to Nemo's side. Dad? Nemo said weakly. I don't hate you. Slowly, he gained back his strength. Together, Marlin, Dory, and Nemo made their way back home. A few weeks later, Nemo was getting ready for school again, and this time, Marlin was ready too. Love you, Dad, said Nemo as he swam away to join his classmates. I love you too, son. Now, go have an adventure, said Marlin. Back in Sydney, Gil and the gang were determined to reach the ocean. I don't understand it, said the dentist when the Aquascum 2003 broke. The tank was fee, so he placed the fish in plastic bags. When the dentist wasn't looking, they escaped. Yay! We did it! They cheered as they floated on the surface. Now what? Asked one of the fish. It was time to think of a new plan.
And so, my Musketeers, I hope you like this book, and I hope you think of a plan for Gil and his friends, because now they're all stuck in little plastic bags. So I think their next plan is going to be how to get out of those bags. But I want you to tell me what you think. So if you like this book, you can always reread it. You can like it on here. You can reread it. And as always, my Musketeers, be safe, be smart, go for the gold. Bye.